Understanding how snaps and snap indicators works will help you in Chief Architect to draw quickly and precisely. If I go to the Edit drop-down menu and to Snap Settings, you'll see here that there are 4 different types of snaps: object snaps, angle snaps, grid snaps, and extension snaps. You also have snap indicators, the endpoint, midpoint, center, and quadrant. These are related to object snaps. I'll draw a line across the screen. With my line tool still active, if I hover over the line I've just drawn, you'll notice that you get a red indicator. The hourglass snap indicator indicates that you're right on the object. If you hover over the end of a line, you'll notice that you have a square endpoint indicator. If I hover over the middle of the line, you'll notice a triangular midpoint indicator. As soon as I see that indicator, if I click and drag to draw another line, I'm assured that that line is drawn exactly at the midpoint of the first line. You'll also notice here that as I draw a line, as I rotate my cursor, you'll notice that it is snapping to allowed angles. These angles are set up in your plan defaults. You can double-click on the Select Objects tool to open up your plan defaults. In here you'll notice that my allowed angles for my angle snaps is set at 15 degrees. You can also set it at 7.5 degrees. Or you can type in specific angles that you want to use in these fields here. If I don't have my angle snaps turned on, which I can toggle off by clicking on this button in my toolbar over on the right side, now when I draw a line, it'll move freely and not snap to any angles. Having your angle snaps turned on will help you avoid drawing walls or lines at odd angles. As long as object snaps are turned on, which is indicated again by this toggle switch on the right, you can toggle off the specific location snap indicators. If I open up my preference settings and go down to Snap Properties, you'll notice here that there are check marks in each one of these snap indicator locations. However, those snap indicators are tied to quick keys. If I type in the numbers 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then open up my preferences again, back in Snap Properties you'll notice now that the boxes are unchecked for several of my snap indicators. If you're working along and you expect to see a snap indicator, and it's not showing up, you may have turned it off inadvertently. You'll also notice the grid on your screen. You have 2 different grids. The blue grid that you see on your screen is your reference grid. You can turn it off by clicking on the reference grid button on the right. You also have a snap grid. Again, I'll go back to my plan defaults, and as you can see here, you have your snap grid and your reference grid. You can change the size, color, and appearance of both of these grids. The reference grid that you see on your screen is set at 12-inch increments and is for reference only. The snap grid is set at 1-inch increments and is visible only when you zoom in very close. And as you draw or move objects with your snap grid on, it'll snap to 1-inch increments as you draw or move an object. If I turn off my grid snaps and again draw another line, you can see now that it'll draw very smoothly across the screen. You can temporarily disable all of your snaps. If you select an object, or if you're drawing an object, and try to move it, you'll notice that with my grid snaps and my angle snaps on, that I can only move this at allowed angles, and it'll move to 1-inch increments according to the grid snaps. However, if I hold down my Control key as I move an object, or as I draw an object, you'll notice that you can move it now freely. So learning how the snaps and snap indicators work will help you to draw quickly and accurately.